Imagine your scalp is literally on fire every single time you move your head. That was my client, Marcus. For years, he had heavy dreadlocks. We call it traction folliculitis. Think of your scalp like a sprained ankle. You don't run a marathon the next day. You take the weight off of it. Marcus's locks were the marathon. Gravity was pulling on his hair 24/7. His nerves were screaming. So we had a hard talk. The big chop. He cut it all off. Instantly, the pulling stopped, the burning dropped, he felt free. But here's the dirty secret about the big chop that nobody talks about. 2 weeks later, the adrenaline wears off. You walk into your bathroom, the harsh sunlight hits your fresh cut, and for the first time, you see exactly how thin your hair really is. I got a text from Marcus right after the 2-week mark. Do you think my hairline will stop receding and come back? He was standing in what I call the valley of despair. If you just cut your hair or you're in the middle of a receding hairline and you don't know what to do next, you know this valley. You feel like you made a mistake, like you should just throw something at it and hope. I've been there with a lot of men. And the worst thing you can do in that moment is panic and start grabbing products. So today, I want to walk you through exactly what I did with Marcus. The two-front war he was fighting that nobody had named for him yet. The hidden thing at his job that was undoing everything. And the inside-outside protocol that finally got him out of that valley. It's not complicated, but you have to do it in the right order. 14 days since the big chop. The adrenaline is gone. Marcus walks in his bathroom, harsh sunlight, fresh cut, and for the first time, he sees the real damage. He wasn't fighting one enemy. He was fighting a war on two fronts. On the outside, traction alopecia. The heavy locks were physically ripping his hair out by the root. On the inside, androgenic alopecia, male pattern baldness. DHT quietly choking his follicles while the locks covered everything up. When they hit the floor, the truth was staring back at him. My phone buzzed. Photos of his crown and hairline in bright sunlight, completely unforgiving. This is the moment where amateurs blow it. They want the client to feel better, so they sell a dream. Don't worry, man, it'll all grow back. I don't do that. I told him straight, Marcus, I cannot control your genetics. I can't negotiate with nature, but here's what I can control, the setup. Think of it like farming. I can't force the seed to sprout, but I can make the soil perfect. If those roots are still alive under there, they will grow here. The panic dropped. And if you're sitting in your own valley right now, I want you to hear that. This is a version of this conversation available to you. Not a product recommendation, not a guarantee I can't keep. Just someone who would look at what's actually happening and tell you the truth. For Marcus, once the panic settled, we had work to do. Real work. And the first thing we had to deal with had nothing to do with DHT or genetics. It was his job. Eugene wears a hard hat for work. When he wasn't wearing it, his scalp itch was a manageable 2 out of 10. That told me the system was working. Inflammation was dialing down. The second he put that hard hat on, 8 or 9 out of 10. He texted me, he said, when it's bad, I have to scratch it just to make it stop. This is something I see with a lot of guys who work with their hands or wear gear on their heads, and most of them have no idea it's happening. Here's what that hard hat is actually doing. It creates a greenhouse on your scalp. Heat builds up, friction, sweat, and that sweat is full of salt. Salt on a raw, recovering scalp is like pouring something acidic on an open wound. It burns those nerve endings that are already screaming. But here's the part that most people miss. That warm, dark, humid environment under the hard hat is basically a 5-star resort for a yeast called Malassezia. That yeast lives on everyone's scalp in small amounts, totally normal. But when you give it heat and moisture all day, it throws a party. And when it feeds, your body releases histamines. Histamines are what make you itch. So Marcus is caught in a loop he didn't even know he was in. Hard hat goes on, scalp sweats, yeast feeds, histamines fire. He scratches. And every scratch is undoing the work we're trying to do. I text him one rule, just one. Don't scratch. Press on it. He came back immediately. Got it. Won't scratch again. Now that sounds simple, and it is, but there's real biology behind it. Scratching breaks the skin barrier and spreads the yeast to new areas. Pressing, just firm pressure, tricks the nerve ending into quieting down without doing any damage. You're giving the nerve what it's asking for without making things worse. Next, his daytime weapon. When the itch flared up under the hard hat, he spot treated with rosemary spray and hyaluronic serum. applied right through the day, knocked it back down. I told him, on your non-shampoo days, when you take the hard hat off, go straight to the shower, apply CeraVe hydrating conditioner directly on your scalp. 3 minutes, then rinse. Why CeraVe? It's packed with ceramides. Ceramides are the brick and mortar of your skin barrier. Every time he used it, he washed away the salty, irritating sweat and put a protective coating right back over those raw nerves. Now, here's a decision I want to walk you through because I think it matters. The industry standard for blocking DHT is finasteride. A lot of practitioners will have put Marcus on it immediately. And I get it. It works for a lot of men. And the reason isn't that I'm against pharmaceuticals across the board. The reason is Marcus specifically. He was already carrying a heavy stress load. His cortisol was elevated. And finasteride has known side effects: brain fog, mood changes, sexual dysfunction. They don't hit everyone, but if they hit Marcus, he's done. He quits the whole program and we lose everything we built. I wasn't willing to take that risk with his momentum. So instead, I put him on saw palmetto, natural DHT blocker, no synthetic load, no side effect profile that was going to spook him mid-protocol. It plays quiet, steady defense in the background while we handle everything else. This is a 1-2 punch. Punch 1, the weapon, ketocortisol. That's the active ingredient in Nizoral shampoo. It's a targeted strike that kills the Malassezia yeast, driving all that inflammation. But ketocortisol is harsh. If he uses it every single day, it strips his scalp completely raw. That's where punch 2 comes in, the shield. On his non-shampoo days, the CeraVe conditioner, it washes away the hard hat sweat and puts the ceramide armor right back on. Now, Marcus wanted minoxidil, the growth juice. Here's why. Minoxidil is loaded with alcohol. If I put alcohol on a scalp still fighting hard hat inflammation, I'm literally setting his head on fire. He quits. We're back at day 1. The day you tell me your head feels 100% normal under that hard hat is the day I hand you the growth juice. Until then, protect the soil. He came back 100% understand. Just wanted to know it was still possible. That's the thing right there. That's what the Valley of Despair actually is. It's not really about the hard hat. It's not really about the itch or the inflammation or the DHT. It's about a man who feels like he's losing time. Like every day without progress is a day he can't get back. The moment I gave him a job to do, saw palmetto defending the inside, ketocortisol and CeraVe protecting the outside, it wasn't waiting anymore. He was working, and that changes everything. Healing hair isn't about buying a magic shampoo off Instagram and hoping. It's a biological game of inputs and outputs. But the reality was simpler. He was fighting a war without a shield. Once we separated the jobs, saw palmetto on the inside, ketocortisol clearing the enemy on the outside, CeraVe shielding the soil from his hard hat, the game changed. He stopped panicking. He started executing. He knew the inputs. He knew the reward. He knew where tracking the data to prove it was working. If you're listening right now and your scalp is burning, or you're terrified of the big chop, or you're standing in the valley staring at your hairline, stop guessing. Stop throwing chemicals at a broken scalp. You need a system. Blood labs optimized, the exact products phased in at the right time, hard data, and accountability to prove it's actually working. If that's you, book the call, links below. We pull your labs, we map your soil, and build the exact system. The last thing I heard from Marcus that day was simple. He said he finally felt like he knew what he was doing. That's where we want every man to land, not at the finish line, at the starting line with the right shoes on.